Afternoon, everybody. Brian Neubert here from GoldandBlack.com here in Mackey Arena, just kind of hanging out. You have to excuse my voice. I came back from Hawaii with more than just chocolate-covered macadamia nuts, shall we say. This is your GoldandBlack.com Purdue Basketball Daily, something we've been kind of doing off and on, but I'm going to try to get back into routine here now that travel chaos is mostly over. Today's topic is pretty obvious. Purdue obviously returned to number one in the AP poll. This is the third straight year Purdue has been number one in the AP poll around this time of year, and not all that surprising when you open the season number three. Even though I actually thought this year Purdue probably wouldn't do it because I didn't expect them to win Maui. I figured there was enough moving parts with this team that they would take a loss early in the season. I was wrong. The first of my many predictions to go sideways on me, and Purdue is probably glad they did. But so Purdue's number one again. Don't take this for granted. This is a pretty special deal that Purdue has done here. This is like I said before, this is like what it was like for Duke in the 90s, where you almost forget, where it's like kind of an expectation as much as it is a surprise. When Purdue did this a couple years ago for the first time in its history, it was a huge deal, right? And then last year it was a huge deal, but it was a little bit less of a huge deal. Now it's like, oh, well, hey, number one again, awesome. Purdue has a lot to live up to here. But it's had a lot to live up to anyway. And obviously it did everything in its power to live up to its billing, shall we say, in Honolulu, winning 3 straight games in as many days over really, really good opponents, if not elite opponents. As I've said before, that was the greatest MTE field ever assembled. You beat 3 top 11 teams, none of whom I think should move. I haven't seen the poll. I just know Purdue's number one. I don't think Marquette should move. I don't think Tennessee should move. Gonzaga, well, we'll kind of see, but I don't think they should really move all that much because Purdue is really good. I know that's not the nature of polling, where once somebody loses, you automatically move down. But I think that Purdue beat legitimately 3 top 10 caliber teams out in Honolulu, and still has Alabama and Arizona to come. So this is really, really a situation where Purdue didn't just take down the early portion of a mediocre schedule and get to number one because everybody else lost. This was a team playing its greatest non-conference schedule in the history of the program, who obviously has gotten off to a blazing start and really earned this. This wasn't a sort of situation where the first teams to lose get moved down and everybody else moves up just by default. This was Purdue taking the number one spot in the country. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. I'm sick. I'm a little delusional here, but Purdue more than earned this. As I've said many times in the offseason and into this season, I don't anticipate Purdue, buying into this in an unhealthy manner. I think it's something that these guys are kind of used to now, and now's the time to prove that they're used to it. They need to carry themselves like they're the best team in the country, buy into it in a way that it's productive and it breeds confidence, but not arrogance. And I don't think that was ever an issue with the past 2 teams, certainly not last year's team. But I think that the team before it, maybe started reading its press clippings a little bit, and that was, problematic, shall we say. I think that Purdue, one more little intangible hurdle Purdue has to prove itself in this season is being ready for everybody's best shot. And, I think Maui, it's hard to say Purdue didn't get everybody's best shot. And when it's that caliber team doing it, you look pretty bulletproof, for lack of a better term. But Purdue still has to do this stuff where they go to Northwestern on Friday night, and it's Northwestern's Super Bowl. And Iowa comes in here, and Iowa's going to try to mix things up on you defensively, and they're going to play hard because you're number one. Stuff they're going to play harder because you're number one, I should say, and then so on and so forth. Arizona's going to have a lot to prove in Indy, things like that. Alabama and Toronto. Purdue has to just be ready for everything that's going to get thrown its way here, because everybody's going to throw the kitchen sink at it from here on out, and that's something that, as I've said before, it always seems to be Rutgers, but it's something that Purdue has to do its best job yet of these 3 seasons doing, and it's really going to start Friday night at Northwestern, because they're going to be really physical / dirty. They're going to play really hard. They're going to have probably a home court advantage. We'll see about that, but it's just something Purdue's going to have to bring its A game and its A effort more than anything every single game. So that's I think a lot of that stuff you could have wrote in yourself, but I'm contractually obligated to do one of these every day, so my obligation is complete. So Purdue's number 1 in the country once again for the 3rd year in a row, and I will have full coverage tomorrow night of Purdue's game against Texas Southern. Thank you, TV, for putting this on at 8:30. Really, really appreciate that. So, anyway, make sure you stay tuned to GoldandBlack.com. We'll have lots of stuff on our site from media availability today, game tomorrow, things like that. So, thanks, everybody.